Hey guys, welcome back, and let me tell you what we are going to work on today. We're going to work on our whole system, so total body integration in everything that we do, upper body and lower body together. The core will be working in a standing plane as well as lying down onto the mat, and we will get some postural work in as well. Let me tell you what props you need. Number one, you want to start standing near a wall. We'll be using that. Have your mat for a little bit later. You want to have some core sliders, and if you don't have these, you can use socks on carpet, or you can use a towel underneath your foot on a hard floor surface. The last thing that we will be using, it's optional, is small hand weights. Anything from like 1 to 3 pounds would be appropriate. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And we are not going to start with the sliders. I just had them in my hand to show you. So let's bring feet together, legs are parallel, toes facing forward, reach your arms all the way up overhead. Clasp your hands, press the palms of your hands up towards the ceiling. Allow your body to come into a little arc here. Big inhale, and then as you exhale, unclasp your hands, bring them long by your sides, tuck your chin towards your chest, soften through your ribs, and we're just gonna fold all the way forward and try and touch our toes. If you need to bring a knee bend into this, please feel free to soften those knees. And then inhale down here, filling up those upper ribs with air. And then exhale, slowly roll it back up, directing your tail down towards your heels. And a little bit later today, we're going to do roll downs against the wall. So as we're doing these freestanding roll downs, you want to kind of think of that. Inhale, lift the arms all the way back up overhead. Clasp the hands, press the palms up towards the ceiling. Give yourself a little back bend. Unclasp, bring the arms back down long by your sides. Chin towards your chest, soften through the ribs, and roll forward. But one bone at a time. So try not to come down in a chunk. And we're just going down nice and slow. Let your head be heavy, arms be heavy, and your gaze is back through your legs, not down at the floor. Big inhale here. And when you have an exhale, scoop your belly, drawing it backwards towards your spine as you restack the spine, one bone at a time. The arms and shoulders stay heavy and soft, and so does the head. Those are the last to come up, so we don't want to bring any tension into them. All right, I wanted us to just kind of start like that, and then we're going to go ahead and grab one of your sliders. If you're using hand weights, you want to bring one each into your hands. Bring the slider underneath our left foot and toes. Start with our feet right underneath our hips. Sit back into our right hip, right heel, and skate the left leg out wide and come into a delt raise with the arms. All right, standing all the way back up. From here, we're going to hinge the torso forward as we skate the left leg back and bring the arms. Let's see what I want to do. I want to do a little bicep curl here. Okay, so hinging with forward. We're going to stand all the way back up. Kick the arms straight back behind you and reach the left leg forward. Okay, I made that sound like really complicated, but it isn't. Here we go. So we're going to go into a lateral lunge with a delt raise, okay, or fly to the side. Stand all the way back. Come into a lunge, hinging with the torso forward. Left leg goes straight back behind you, bicep curl. Standing all the way back up, kicking your arms straight back behind you like a chest expansion as you reach the left foot forward. Here we go. Let's take it with a little bit of tempo. We're going to go 6. So this is working on little bit of weight transfer. Most of our weight is actually staying in our right standing leg, but we're moving that left leg out at different angles from the body. So we're working on maintaining our center, right, as we do this. Hinge, stand up and reach forward. Good, back to the lateral. This is 4. That's it. Think of staying long through your spine as you do this. From back heel all the way through the crown of your head. 3. Good. 2. If you hear a funny noise, it's the slider under my foot. Good. And one more. Lateral. Hinge for the lunge. Lift up and reach. We're going to go back into that lunge hinge, and you're going to come into your bicep curl, hold it here. We're going to straighten the arms back as we bend the knee in and through, and there we go. We're just skating behind us as the arms bend and straighten back. All right, 6, and 5. So this is a lot of hip strength. Draw your core in and up. 3 and 2. Hopefully I didn't skip one. And 1, and stand it all the way up. Now we're going to take it into a little bit of a circle. So arms reach back. As the leg circles wide, we come into the lateral lunge, circle the arms wide, around and forward. Now we're into the hinge lunge behind us, and then stand up. So the main difference is just the order of how we're doing that, okay? And making it a little bit more fluid, as well as adding the arms into like a circle motion. So they come from the back, up around, no higher than your shoulders, and then reach forward, okay? So here we go. Into lateral, back to lunge, reach around, woo, forward, and then pull in. So this is balance as well. So that's why today is total body integration, taking all of the things, little building blocks that we've been doing in pieces and putting them together. So really important to, in any workout program, make sure that you are always working that mind-body connection, balance, strength, mobility, and flexibility all together. We need to be able to not just piece it apart, but combine it as well. All right, guys, we're gonna transfer that slider underneath the right foot, and we start same thing. So we're gonna start with laterals, standing back up. We hinge forward as we skate the right leg back behind us, and then reach the arms back as we stand it up and reach the leg through. We go lateral, lunge and skate back, stand up and reach forward. That's it. 6 more to go. Keep your breathing nice and fluid, coordinated with your movement. I'm not going to cue you on that. You just want to tune in, make sure that you're breathing the whole time. You're not holding your breath. Good. I think this makes 4. I feel like I might have added an extra. I didn't mean to, I promise. 3. Good. And 2. Again, the hand weights are optional, so if you have heavy ones, you might want to put them down, right? If they ever get too heavy, we don't want to go too heavy when we're doing motions like this because we're really trying to work full range of the shoulders. So that's why it's good to do lower. We're going back into our lunge, and then we're just going to bend, straighten the arms back, and then back into the bicep curl as we straighten the leg back. And we go 7 and 6. All the body weight is in the left heel, left hip. 5. Belly's pulled up and in, even though it's not a core exercise. It's supporting our spine, right? 4. You guys got this. 3. 2. 1. Skate back and then stand all the way up and reach that foot forward and the arms back. And now we're ready to take it into kind of like those circles. So the leg circles out to the side, come into a lateral lunge, come back into the hinge lunge with the arms reaching forward, stand it up, reach forward, and arms reach back. And we go for, how many did we do on that? Did we do 8 or did we do 6? I don't know. I can't even remember. Let's go somewhere in the middle, 4 more. Keep those arms as straight as you can. If there's any issue with the shoulders, then go ahead and bend the elbows and work within the range you have. If there's an issue with balance, then you can position yourself close to your wall and have a finger touch or hold on it, right? So just this morning I was working with someone and we had to sort of pull in the range of movement because the balance wasn't there for the larger range. So if you're ever struggling with that, pull your range in, work within where you can without, having big sways or big changes. And then as you develop the strength within that range, you'll be able to increase your range. So that's just like a side note for range. Okay, so we can let the arms rest for a little bit with those hand weights. So you can put those down, put the slider off to the side. Come to the wall and do a little bit of quad work. Super simple little chair sit against your wall. Be at a 90-degree angle, the knees and the hips. If that's too much, then like I was just sitting up above that angle, you can totally do that. Just make sure that your ankles are not behind the knees. They're either under or slightly forward. As we're sitting like this, focus with your breath, softening the lower rib cage and pressing it back against the wall. At the same time, the back of the head goes against the wall, and this feels really funny, at least for me. So depending on the curves in your spine, for some people this feels normal. For other people, it's gonna feel like, whoa, I'm pushing my head way back there, but this is actually good posture. So while we're in this sitting position, working on the quads and strengthening our leg bones, okay, pelvis and hips, we're also working posture. So super simple, really basic fitness kind of move, but we can work on the posture. Using the breath, again, you want the low ribs to be in contact with the wall. If you find yourself splaying forward, take a big inhale. With your exhale, soften that down. Reach your arms wide into a T, and you want the backs of the shoulders against the wall. If they're not, don't worry about it. We'll work towards that. And then you're gonna bend your arms into goalie and straighten them into a T. To goalie and straighten. We go for 8. We're trying to have the forearms and backs of hands rubbing against the wall the whole time. 7 and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. All right, you can stand up out of that position. Give your legs a little shake out. Remember, super important longevity is strengthening the leg bones. I'm gonna come over on this side. Stay standing against the wall. Allow yourself almost 1 full foot length, or at least half a foot length from the base of the wall for where you place your feet. Otherwise, this is really, really tight because we do have natural curves in the spine. We're not trying to get our spine to match the wall, okay? So this will be a little bit more appropriate. Feel your sacrum against the wall. Bring your arms along by your sides. Gently press the low part of your head, not like this with your chin up, but just chin forward, back against the wall. See if you can get the backs of the shoulders against the wall. Mine are nowhere near it, but I'm trying. And then notice what happens when you do that, because you might do this and the ribs pop off. And then you might soften the ribs down and the shoulders pop off. That's just gonna show you where you wanna work. And most likely it's because the chest is tight. Now you can take your arms away from the wall, let them just hang by your sides. We're gonna do roll downs. Take a nice big inhale here, soften through the chin, down towards chest, and you're simply trying to peel one vertebra at a time away from the wall. So going down slow, you don't wanna feel yourself come off the wall in like one big chunk. And I'm laughing because the lumbar low back spine is really hard for me. Okay, heavy the head, heavy the arms, and you're rolling all the way down there until you can touch your toes or as far as you can go. You can bend your knees if you need to, and then exhale and roll back up. And as you roll back up, from your tailbone all the way back up to the top, you kind of tuck your tail under, slide your bum down the wall, keep pressing back, scoop your belly. Well, this should be really indented here. Scoop. You're trying to lay your spine down slowly, one vertebra at a time, all the way stacked back up to the top against the wall. We're going to do that 4 more times. Ready? Inhale and exhale. Chin to chest and roll it down. These are so easy to do for the simple reason that they are obviously accessible to everyone. You just need a floor and a wall. And they're great to do at any time of the day, morning, noon, or night. And the more you do them, you can roll back up nice and slow, go with your breath. The more you do them, the more change you're gonna see, obviously, right? With anything. If we're just doing certain things once in a great while, we won't see much change. But if we do it frequently enough, then we will see the change. 3 more to go. Really use your breath. Make sure that if you ever find yourself in a part of movement where you've kind of come to the end of a breath cycle, pause, take a breath again, and keep going. Also, even just in these 5 rolls that we're doing, you can see if you notice any change. And maybe it's just like a micromillimeter of change that you notice against the wall. But the wall is really nice because it gives you that feedback and you can feel whether you're touching it or whether you're not. And as you peel off, if it's a segment, if it's a small portion, a large portion of the spine, etc. We're on our fourth roll here. Keep the shoulders and the arms and the head really heavy. So try not to, the shoulders like to shrug up towards the ears as you go down and over. I don't even know why, but just keep them disengaged because they don't need to be working down there, right? When you lift all the way back up, really lift all the way back up. Try to open the chest, keeping the low ribs back against the wall. Last time, this is our fifth one. Rolling down. Good, breathing through it. Hopefully this just feels really good, like a good release. And then exhale, rolling all the way up. So super good stretch in any, in any way, but also really good for longevity and for posture. So we're gonna stay against the wall, standing plane, bring the arms back to goalie, and you're gonna reach up, sliding the arms up the wall overhead. Now, if you can't reach that high and you're just to here, don't worry about it. Again, remember what I just said a little bit ago about range? You're just gonna work within the range you have. Now for me, I have the range to reach overhead. However, my elbows are like levitating. They're nowhere near the wall at that point. That's okay. I'm just going to continue working that range, but trying to keep my chest open. Now, again, this goes back to that if your chest is open and your arms are back against the wall, but my ribs aren't touching the wall anymore, it's all just points to work towards, but don't, get yourself stuck in a position where you're just trying to kind of like force the posture or squeeze it, out of a toothpaste tube. Just work with flow and motion and breath, and then your body will eventually go there little by little by little. So we'll go 3 more up and pull wide, 2 more up and pull wide, and 1 more up and pull wide, and then reach your arms down and give them a shake out. I don't know if you're like me, but I got like little tingles in my fingertips. So that particular exercise can also be done lying down and using gravity to really help open the chest wall. So now that I'm thinking of it, we'll also do that on the mat. But I do like doing it in the standing plane because it works that posture through the ribs. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and grab your mat. So slide it over to where you can access it. Position it in such a way that you can use the sliders on the floor. All right, generally the sliders don't do so well on the mat. So sit on one end of the mat. Bring the hand weights close to you so you can reach them in your hands. Bring each slider underneath your feet. Start in a seated position. You can hold on behind your thighs here. Sit up nice and tall. Take a nice big inhale. Let's reach long actually. Tuck your tail, start to roll back just behind your sit bones. So you're not going to drop back. You're just scooped back here, and then we're going to lengthen one leg, pushing down on that slider into the floor as you push it away and slide it back in. And then the other leg, push down and slide back in. Now, if you ever need to, you can bring the fingertips back behind the thighs. So just different levels of practice there. And what we're trying to do as we lengthen a leg away is to stay still in the torso from waist up. Keep the scoop. Don't let the belly start to kind of bomb up a little bit. And then let's make it a little more fluid. So we're switching simultaneously. The more you press the foot down into the floor against the slider, the more you're going to feel your core connection too. All right? Okay. And now, bending both knees, let's lift all the way back up. We're gonna add a hand weight. Remember, it's optional. If you like, just into the right arm. So take that arm, reach long. This is why we're using a lower weight, because this would be really hard with a higher weight. We're gonna tuck and round back behind the sit bones. We're just going to mobilize the left leg. So we're gonna push it forward and reach the right arm up to the ear and pull back in. And we're gonna go 7 and 6 and 5 and 4. Make sure you're not slumping in the spine. 3. So you're scooped but lifted. 2 and 1. Go ahead and grab the weight with the left hand, and we're going to do the same thing with left arm, right leg. Ready? 8 and 7. If you don't have this range, you could do a little biceps curl instead. Yes. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Sit up all the way tall. Bring your weights, both of them, into your hands. Elbows go wide, and the weights are right in front of your sternum, so not too high that the shoulders want to hike up. Tuck and round back again to behind the sit bones again, and this time I want you to come into a little turnout with the legs. Draw the heels closer to your glutes. You're going to open the arms wide as you send the legs away together, and then pull arms and legs in together for 8 and 7. Try not to slump here. And 6 and 5. So modification would be putting a towel behind your low back to help. 3 and 2 and 1. So, or like a Bosu ball, something like that, if it's really hard to hold that position, okay? Keeping your heels on those core sliders, we're gonna go ahead and roll it all the way down, but we are gonna work with our head up today. So we wanna maintain that strength too. I know I said in one of the other videos it's not my favorite. True, it isn't my favorite, but we wanna be able to lift, and that strength is coming from, if you will, upper abs, okay? So it's not just the head and the neck. You're gonna hold your arms like so, punch your right arm up towards the ceiling as you lengthen the left leg away, and then pull in, and we'll alternate. Left arm up, right leg out, and pull in. Again, the press down into that slider as the leg slides away is what helps turn on your abdominals. So that's what you want to try and establish, as long as you can still slide, obviously. You're not going All right. Scooping the belly. Your tail is definitely tucked in this position. And if the head or the neck is getting tired, yes, of course, you can always put it down. But the other option is trying to curl a little bit higher in the chest so that you've got the ribs supporting the head and the neck, and it's not just hanging back there in space. Let's go 2 more total. 1 more. And now we can go ahead and rest the head and neck down. You can turn from side to side. We're gonna go right back up in that position and make it just a little bit more complex. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, curl head, neck, and shoulders forward. Left leg to tabletop. Right elbow can stay anchored down into the floor. Keep a hold of your weight if you have it. And the right leg is still doing the same thing. It's gonna straighten out and bend in. Your left arm, however, if you have the range in the shoulder, is gonna straighten back long by your ear and then pull in and really press down, and we're going to push out and pull and press down. So that's part of the reason why I'm going slow, because I'm really pressing. So you should actually feel with that press the engagement of the hamstring in the right leg as well. Pull in. Now, if this is not available to the shoulder, try it without the weight first. Still not available, then you're just going to do a little bicep curl here, okay? So that will be the modification. We're going to go 3 more and 2 and 1. We're going to switch, bring the left foot down onto the slider, right leg up to tabletop, and drive down as you push the leg away and pull in. One thing that you can add is as you pull the knee in, you're almost lifting the chest up a little bit higher. Maybe it's only a micro inch, okay? And pull in. We're gonna go 5 and 4. Really important to work that diagonals in the body for all time and at all ages. That is how the body functions for weight shift and transfer. And so that's really going to help prevent injuries, especially around the spine and in the hips. All right, you guys, you can rest your head all the way back down, both feet down, and you can turn that head from side to side. Put the weights down, and we're going to do a little reverse ab curl. So depending on age, this is always possible to cross the ankles, though you do need to know this does make it easier posture. So you can have your legs in tabletop or legs straight up towards the ceiling. Arms go down long by your sides. We're simply going to try and curl our tail up just a little bit off the mat and then back down. As you do that, you're using the full length of the arms to press down on the mat. Now, this is very similar to what we're doing against the wall. Of course, we weren't lifting our legs this way, but we're trying to keep the backs of the shoulders and the low ribs down against the mat. So though you're thinking about your abs here, it's also very helpful for posture. If at any point you notice that you're rounding your shoulders forward, this is very challenging, but you can take the arms overhead, backs of the hands go down onto the mat overhead, and you're gonna do the exact same ab exercise, but now this really helps keep the chest wall open and the backs of the shoulders against the mat. It does give you less to push down in order to lift up. Remember, you're not trying to lift up that high. It's like 1 inch of the hips off the mat and then right back down. Let's go one more. Good. Bending your knees and then bring your feet down onto the floor. Keep your knees bent. We're going to do what we're doing on the wall standing here on the mat so we can feel the difference of how gravity can help. So open your arms into goalie arms on the floor. And again, you're trying to get the backs of shoulders, upper arms and forearms onto the floor. And then you're just going to slide your arms up overhead and then pull the elbows wide at your side back to goalie. Again, you want to take stock of how your spine has reacted to this position. So are your low ribs able to stay heavy and down on the mat as the arms reach overhead and pull wide, or do they pop off? Little things like that. Maybe one side is different than another. So this is a great postural exercise to do to also help you develop more mind-body awareness if that is lacking for any reason. Reaching up overhead and back. Good, and up overhead and back wide, and we'll do one more. You'll also see this in a lot of our other workouts where there's a softball underneath our rib cage. That's more for opening the chest wall and bringing in an extension into the thoracic spine, which is super advantageous and amazing as well. But this, we're really focusing on the length of the spine and posture because we're trying to get those ribs down towards the floor. So just a side note, if you see that in other workouts and you're thinking, oh, like what's the difference between the two? This is more focused on just that elongated posture, if you will, good sitting and standing posture. The other one is more focused on stretching a tight chest wall, bringing thoracic spine into an extension and combating that sort of forward rounded posture, okay? All right, guys, so you're gonna go ahead and slowly roll yourselves up to seated, and we're going to do our push-ups today. Kind of doing them almost all days, I feel like, but it's just a really important part of strength to maintain. Remember, you can do these standing against your wall. You can do them onto the side of a chair or counter. The lower you go, and when the feet and the hands are at the same plane, that's going to be your more difficult, obviously very difficult if your hands are below your feet, okay, if they were up on like a stair or a chair. You can choose knees or onto your feet, however you prefer, and we're working on our tricep push-ups. So I want you to tuck your tail, pull your belly back and in, and we're going to go down and up for 8. And use your breath as you lift up. Remember to give yourself a little hug with your ribs as you press back up. So your core really kind of hugs your spine and supports you through space as you lift back up. 5. Keep slipping back here. And 4. And 3, really hug your upper arms to your rib cage as you go down and press back up. 2 and 1. Good. All right, so remember there's so many versions of push-ups, but you want to be working those throughout your week and then maintain your strength in them. If you're really working on them and you're improving your strength, that's awesome, but maintain a baseline level of strength for push-ups because that is going to help with longevity. All right, that's it for today, guys. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for joining me and tune in for the next one. Bye. Thanks for moving with me, you guys. If you liked this workout, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you get a notification each time I upload a new video. Come over to my website at goneadventuring.com if you're interested in more full-length workouts or live classes each week. week. Join us. Let's do this together at any time from anywhere. I'll see you soon.